Hello, it's African Couch Potato, the mashup with me, GIno. Today, we are going to be going through the top 5 things to watch on absolutely every platform. Last week, I had a chat with Nolwazi, who is an actress. She's on Outlaws, and that also features on my list. Getting straight into it, we start off with Netflix. So this week, it's end of the month. People have been paid. Salaries already finished. So I'm hoping that you all have time to sit down and watch something. Some of us are waiting to get e-wallets or to send e-wallets. So it's the perfect time to catch up on content that you've been hearing about but haven't had a chance to tune into. Netflix is number one, and the first one is Norway, which is about a pregnant girl who's on a shipping container at sea, and it's how she navigates the ocean, not knowing where she is, trying to reach out to her fiance, trying to get help, but mostly trying to survive to make sure that she and her newly born baby are okay. Number two is a 4-part documentary called Beckham, and it's about David Beckham, how he grew up in Manchester, his marriage to Victoria or Posh Spice, Ronaldo, getting to play with Ronaldo, as well as how he started his American team. So it's basically his whole life. And the reason I'm emphasizing that it's his whole life is because some documentaries are not complete. You feel like there's still something that's missing, even though the person is still alive, even though David Beckham hasn't passed away. But the documentary is so complete that you know absolutely everything about the man, and he shares it with us in his own words, supported by his friends, colleagues, former players, etc. Number three is called Fair Play. It's about a man whose fiance gets a promotion, and it's a promotion that he thought he was going to get. So the home environment changes because he starts asking her, how did you get this promotion? Because your boss called you at 2 a.m. What were you discussing? So it's that domestic dispute, and it gets very, very dark, especially towards the end, because power play comes into it, and that shift in relationship from loving, trusting partner to somebody who could well kill you. Number four is Sex Education. This is the 4th season of Sex Education. Sex Education for me is like Spud, but the next level. So Spud was dealing with kids and pimples. Sex Education deals with teens and sex. So if you enjoyed watching Spud, which is on Showmax, you will enjoy watching Sex Education. This is the 4th, and I think it's rumored to be the last season, so you can binge watch all 4 seasons. Number 5 is Big Vape, and it's the rise and fall of a company called Juul. Juul is the manufacturer of e-cigarettes. So they're really the first people who made vaping cool. So instead of vaping from these big kind of cylinders with coil and oil, they use like a twist approach so that it feels nice in your hands. And it's how the company went from being a multi-billion-dollar operation to pretty much non-existent. We now move on to Apple TV Plus. On Apple TV Plus, 5 recommendations. I came onto Apple TV because of a former guest called Amuhelang. You can go and listen in on her episode on African Couch Potato. She told us about a show called Calls, where it's a conversation between people over the phone and strange happenings in the background. So that's my first recommendation. It's called Calls. Number 2 is The After Party. There's 2 seasons. Season 1 is when a high school mate gets murdered, and during a reunion party, they have to find out who did it. So it's a murder mystery. And the second season is the husband getting murdered after the wedding, and again, they have to find out who did it. Number 3 is Platonic, which, as it suggests, is about a boy and a girl who spend so much time together without falling in love, to prove that boys and girls can really just be friends. Number 4 is a sports documentary called Stephen Curry Underrated. Number 5 is also a sports documentary, and I think you guys will like this one because it's about Lionel Messi's journey into playing soccer in America. Our third platform is Showmax, and this is the top 5 to check out. On Showmax, the first one is Outlaws. Outlaws, like I mentioned at the top of this episode, is a show. It's a Western drama, and it features Nolwazi Shange, who was the guest on our previous podcast. So if you're listening to the previous podcast and you want to see her perform or in her zone, you can catch Outlaws. She stars as Unandi. Number 2 is called Blessers, which is great timing because at some point, especially at the end of the month, you wish you did have a blesser. It's about a girl who grows up, gets cut off by her family, and she has to find alternative ways to survive or to stay alive. Number 3 is Poppy Nongena. If this name is familiar, I did a episode about 3 weeks back where we were counting down 50 South African films that you have never heard about. It made it onto the list, and if you're keen or curious, this is where you can check it out. Poppy Nongena on Showmax. Number 4 is So the Winter to My Skin. And number 5 is Mapimpi. So Mapimpi is a rugby player. And what this documentary documents is how he went from grassroots, being an orphan, and how he really had to struggle up until he was part of the winning squad in 2019. And he's still playing with the Boks. So if you're into sports documentary or you just like a very brilliant human story about the endearing human spirit, you must check out Mapimpi. We now move on to Prime Video. Prime Video is by Amazon. And my top 5, number 1, obviously, it is John Wick. And this is the 4th installment of John Wick. Quick background on John Wick. He is a guy, Keanu Reeves, and they kidnap his dog. And he goes around and he kills half the town for his dog. That's how the first one started. And now it's on the 4th installment. Hopefully it doesn't go the way that Fast Furious did, where we now have Fast and Furious 10. I'm hoping that they kill the character of John Wick after this, but I know there's a lot of John Wick fans who will be excited about it. They can catch it on Prime Video. Number 2 is called The Burial, which features Jamie Foxx and Tommy Lee Jones. Number 3 is The Continental, which is from the world of John Wick. So I figured the producers are like, people are going to get enough of John Wick, so let's change names and call it something else. That was the birth of The Continental. Number 4 is The Upside with Kevin Hart. And number 5 is Somebody I Used to Know, which is a feel-good comedy that you want to watch with your broke person as you wait for your next paycheck. And I'll throw in a bonus. SABC Plus. So SABC Plus is a newly established streaming platform. It's run by the national broadcaster SABC. The great thing about SABC Plus is that it's free, and in addition to being free, it means that you can catch the Rugby World Cup. So if you don't know who Magazole Mapimpi is, you can watch him in action in France on SABC Plus. You just go to sabcplus.co.za, you register, fill in your name, your phone number, and you have a profile, and you can stream instantly. And that is my top 5 of things to watch absolutely everywhere for this week. I'm going to be doing a few of these because I enjoy telling or asking people what to watch and hearing your feedback from it. And as usual, if you want me to review anything, I know I've got a request to review the Black Book, which is going to be something I'll be watching soon. And then I will do a review. As always, you can listen to African Couch Potato, the mashup, on Spotify, Deezer, Apple Podcasts, pretty much any podcast platform. We are on Instagram at African Couch Potato, TikTok at African Couch Potato, and Twitter, now called X, as African Couch Pot, because they're just shortening everything. I'm GIno again, and thanks for tuning in.